Hello, my lovely crafters. This is Crafty Sue 519. Welcome to my channel. And today is my Tea Tuesday. It's been so hot in here, in Florida, I should say, that I haven't had hot tea and I can't tell you how long. But I do drink iced tea in my Starbucks cup. And that's what I'm drinking today. So just plain old unsweetened iced tea. Gave you these little flowers I made to look at while I talk. As the title said, I canceled my surgery. It was supposed to be tomorrow, and yesterday I called and canceled it. Why? We'll get to that. Let me give you a little history about me. At 14 years old, I started working in a hospital. I was a nurse's aide, not a candy striper. I was a nurse's aide. I went to work at 14 and had a full load of patients every day, just like the nurses, and I took care of them. I did not have patients that were post-op, that needed bandage changing, that kind of stuff, because I wasn't qualified for it. But I had a load of 5 patients every day that I had to take care of, and I did that for quite a while. I worked at the hospital until I was 18 years old, I think. So I had a lot of experience with doctors. I not only worked as a nurse's aide on the floor, I worked as a ward secretary at the front desk. I worked in the operating room. I worked in the recovery room. I saw things I wish I hadn't seen. Believe me. I found the surgeries kind of interesting. I would stand at the door and watch through the window some of the things. And recovery room, I cannot believe they put me in the recovery room to work. There was me and the nurse that was in charge of the recovery room, and she spent 90% of her time flirting with the doctors. So I would be in the recovery room with 8 patients with nobody there. Not good. But I learned a lot. I went from there to being a pharmacy assistant. I would fill prescriptions, and the pharmacist would check them to make sure they were correct, and they would go to the patients. I liked that job. It was pretty good. I got married while I was doing that job, and got pregnant with my first son, and left that job and did not work again. Let me see, I was 24 when I had my first child, and I did not work again for quite a while. At 30, I went back to school. I went back to school for medical office management and my medical assistant's certificate. Did that. I think it took 2 years. I did that. And I went to work and spent the rest of my career managing medical practices. So I have a lot of experience with doctors from the time I was 14 years old until I retired when I moved here to Florida at 58. So why'd I tell you that? Just because I want you to know that I am pretty good at judging physicians. I can feel very comfortable with them. I can feel very uncomfortable with them. I've known the good, the bad, and the ugly. Believe me, I have seen it all. Anyhow, back to why I made the decision I made. A couple of weeks ago, when I told you about that horrible day I had, I went to my ENT's office to be allergy tested. Went through that. That was pretty easy. Then they brought me into where the doctors were, and my doctor's PA came in and talked to me about my allergies a little bit. And I had told him one of the medications that they put me on was elevating my blood sugar. I'm diabetic, and my blood sugar levels had gone up significantly. And I said, I've done some research, and this medication you put me on can raise blood sugar. Well, they disagreed. I've never heard of that. Well, I quit taking that medication. guess what? My blood sugar levels are back down to where they should be. I was right. They're wrong. Pick up your darn computer and look it up. It's easy enough to see. Just because I'm a patient doesn't mean I'm stupid. And that really irritates me. Really irritates me. So I'm ready to walk out to make an appointment to get my first set of allergy shots. And someone walks up to me and says, "Doctor wants you to have a CAT scan." I said, "CAT scan of what?" Didn't even see the doctor. "Well, he wants to do a CAT scan of your sinuses." So I went and did that. He came in, he did the test, and then he called me over to this little corner he was sitting in that I could not see when I was having the test done. And he says, "Oh, look at this, and look at this, and look at this, and see this right here? Well, I'm not sure what that is, and that needs to come out." Okay, why? And what do you do? We went back into one of the offices, and he pretty much said, "Well, this is what we need to do. That needs to come out. You need to have surgery to remove it. I'll send it to the lab to be tested. And that's it. Shouldn't be too tough." And out the door he went. And that was the end of it. It was like a whirlwind. I was so uncomfortable. I said, what the heck just happened? I came here to be allergy tested. What is this? So I went and I scheduled everything and walked out of there, and the most uneasy feeling you can have. Just so uneasy about the whole thing. And I said, "Nope, there's something wrong with this." Have I seen doctors order things that were not necessary in the past? Absolutely, all the time. You have to remember, medicine is a business. It's a business. They want to make money. And if you delude yourself that it's not, I feel sorry for you, because it is a business. Yes, there are wonderful doctors out there. I've had wonderful doctors. I've worked for wonderful doctors, and I've worked for some crappy doctors. But yeah, it's a business, and they will do whatever they have to do to make money. Believe me. So that's the feeling I had when I left there. I said, this is a money grab. It's a money grab. And I kept going. But in my head, I kept saying, what if this really is something? I don't know. I don't know what he was showing me on that cloudy picture on his little laptop. I don't even know if it was really my CAT scan, if that even really did it. I had all kinds of doubts. All kinds of doubts. So over the weekend, I went online and I read as many reviews as I could about my doctor. And I've had him for several years. This is the first time I've ever felt uncomfortable. And most people left him pretty bad reviews, his personality and blah, blah, blah. I can get by with a bad bedside manner. The last physician I worked for was awful to work for. It was a cardiology practice I worked with, and I had 3 physicians, but the main one was awful, just an awful person. Ugh. But I'll tell you, if I had to have a heart catheterization done or a pacemaker or anything like that, he would be the one to do it. He was excellent at it. He was excellent. The man knew what he was doing. Personality sucked, but he was an excellent surgeon. So anyhow, I struggled and struggled all through the weekend, and I kept telling Grumpy, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And finally, yesterday, I said, that's it. I'm canceling it. And I did. It took me 3 hours to get a hold of anybody. And when I was finally able to leave a message for the surgical aide or whatever her title is, that takes care of this doctor's surgery scheduling, I guess. She called me back And she says, do you really want to cancel this? And I said, absolutely. And she said, why? And I said, do you want the truth? Or do you just want me to be kind? And she said, whatever you like. And I said, all right, let me tell you the truth about your doctor. I said, he walked in the room. I said, I'm walking out of the office and I'm grabbed and told I need to have a CAT scan done. I don't know where this came from. I did not see him. Why did he order that? What provoked that? That was never told to me. I have this done. Suddenly he's saying I need sinus surgery. Doesn't explain what he's going to do, how it's going to be done, what kind of a recovery I will have, even if I'll have black eyes afterwards. Come on, give me some information. And he walked out the door. He never once said to me, take some time and think about it and let me know what you want to do. That would have made all the difference in the world. Don't let a doctor force you into surgery without you thinking about it and making your decision. It's not their decision, it's your decision. Now, of course, there are things that happen where you really don't have a decision to make. You have to go along with what they say. But for elective surgery like this, you make the decision, not the doctor, and make darn sure they explain to you exactly why they're doing it, how they're going to do it, and what your recovery is going to be. That didn't happen with me. And with all my experiences in the past, I knew this wasn't right. It was not right. And I believe wholeheartedly that it was a money grab. I truly, truly do. And that's what I told this girl that called me. And she says, well, I can have his PA call you and explain the surgery to you and everything. I said, a little too late for that. No. She goes, you still want to cancel? And I said, absolutely. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. If in the future he can prove to me that I really need this done in a way that I feel comfortable with it, then maybe I'll do it. But I don't think there's anything urgent about this. And I'm not doing it. And that was that. And I hung up. All the anxiety and panic attacks that I've had in the last couple of weeks over this dissipated. And I just sat and took a deep breath and said, oh, I shouldn't have never agreed to this in the first place. My bad on that part. But I should never have. I know better than that. So I really, really appreciate all of you who gave me well wishes and prayers that everything would go well tomorrow. And maybe all your prayers worked in giving me the courage to cancel it. That's what I believe. That your prayers and well wishes helped me do what I knew I had to do. So that's it. So I don't know what the future holds. I don't even know if I'm going to keep him as a doctor. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is the only bad thing experience that I've had with him, but it's a pretty big bad thing. It's a pretty big bad thing. So I would just like you to learn from my experience. Go with your gut. Go with your gut when you go to a doctor. If he tells you that you need surgery that you're not comfortable with, that he can't prove you really need, that you're not feeling bad, you have no symptoms, you have nothing, don't do it. Take time to think about it. He should ask you to take time and think about it. Surgery's not a joke. I don't care if it's a 5-minute surgery or a 3-hour surgery. You need to take time to think about it. Go with your gut, my friends. And all of you who are nurses, you know what I'm talking about. You've met these good doctors. You've met the bad ones. You've seen things you wish you had never seen. I have. I'll tell you a quick story, and then I'll be quiet. I was working in the recovery room, and there was a doctor, a horrendous doctor. And he was sitting at the desk in the recovery room, calling every doctor he could to find an assistant for a surgery he wanted to do. Doctors could not operate by themselves. They had to have another doctor in the room with them. And he literally had the phone book in his lap and calling every doctor in there to help him assist. One finally did. One finally did. And he did the surgery on this person with the help of that other doctor. And it was a pretty big surgery. He liked to do surgeries on foreigners that could barely speak English and poor people, people on Medicaid. He had already been eliminated from the staff on every other hospital he was in. This was the only hospital that would let him do surgery. Like I said, I was in the recovery room at the time, and he came in a little while after surgery and it was on the man's neck. And he started poking and poking and poking at his neck. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, look, he's bleeding. And I said, "Well, you're poking the incision. You can't do that." He says, "Oh, we have to take him back in the recovery, into the operating room." And they did. And the man died. He died. Oh, it was horrible. Just absolutely horrible. Well, he finally got kicked off the staff at this hospital, and he had no place to go to do surgery. So that was the end of his surgical career. My husband and I and children built a house out in the country, and we were riding into the little town, and I looked up and I saw a medical office, and it was this doctor who opened a medical office in the little town that I had moved to. And I said to my husband, I said, "No matter what happens to me, I don't care what it is, you do not, under any circumstance, take me or my children to that doctor. I don't want him touching me. Ever. I do not want him touching me." And he never did. And a while later, I don't remember exactly how long it was, he was driving in my town, and he had a heart attack. And he thought he could take care of himself. Well, guess what? He could not. And he died. So he was his own worst doctor. So good stuff happens. Bad stuff happens. You come first. You come first. Go with your gut. That's the best advice I can give any of you. If it feels right, go for it. If it doesn't feel right, take time. Think about it. Think about it. Get a second opinion if you have to. But go with your gut. It's usually always right. All right, everyone. That's it. Again, I want to thank you for those who gave me their well wishes and prayers. I so appreciate it. And like I said, I do believe it's what helped me to finally make the decision I knew was right all along. All right, until next time, my beautiful subbies. Love yous. Bye.